Hello. So the next step would be to put our lining, sleeve lining, and to use that sleeve go over your armhole. With this one, you have to be quite careful because we attach the sleeve, so make sure your lining is still attached to the sleeve where it should be, as we talked before. And if you look at that, I got just about enough seam allowance. So usually you will have a little bit more. So if you have less, see, that is just about enough. So I've got a centimeter on each side, which is still perfect. That means I don't have any extra, so I'm not allowed to make mistakes. So if you've got that tab, because you can't really pull too much, is there, but if you see, you still have some seam allowance. And what we're going to do now, so at the moment, so just nicely, everything nicely lays down, folding 1 centimeter at the top, and I'm just going to attach it with just the pin, because what my aim is to match my seam allowance at the sleeve, so the back seam of the sleeve, matching with the seam of the back seam and the lining. So those seam matching with seam. So that's my first aim, because I don't want that. If it doesn't matches, what could happen is the lining start twisting. So the lining goes against your top sleeve and I would not sit properly. So I've done that. So the next part would be is matching my front seam with the front seam of your sleeve. So I can see that's where it is. I need to find it. You can see, there we go, it's here. So it's right that side here. So I need to make sure that matches with this one. My fold 1 centimeter goes over to my line, which is a tucked line. So it's kind of like my guideline now. We're going to redo it anyways if it still shows. Okay, now I'm going to take it off and I'm going to distribute the amount of the fabric. So if you've got a lot on your head of your sleeve, then you may want it to create, which just happens. If you've got a lot of excess of the lining, you can create a tiny, tiny pleats around the head of the sleeve. But I'm going to try to use all my fabric as it is and not to create any gathering or anything like that for start, but you can have a little tiny pleats there. So you can see that now I'm folding my seam allowance. Do not fold too much. It feels like you've got plenty of the seam allowance, but actually, you know, you may need that. So only fold about 1 centimeter, so if you're very precise. But if you think actually it's way too much seam allowance, then you can contact me and I can check and can explain to you if it's right or wrong. There we go. So keep folding. So I try to distribute all my fabric, but again, I'm only trying to be consistent as well. I'm only folding about 1 centimeter. Even if I think I've got plenty of the fabric here, I still only folding 1 centimeter. Because what I'm going to do is to pin my lining and then turn it my coat inside out, put on the mannequin and check, or put on someone's and check. So you have to be careful with the pins, of course. And the most important is that the lining is not twisting and not pulling anywhere. So, you need to keep distributing the fabric. Okay. Sometimes linings can be the quite difficult part because you don't know, you know, how much is need to be loose and bigger and how much is need to be like what is enough. So that's where it's, you know, you have to find a balance really. It all comes with experience. So now I've got quite a lot of fabric here, so I'm going to spread it more in order to to allocate the right, you know, that's spread more evenly. That's what I really want. And I just folded to go over your seam. I'm going to undo this to make it more. Try not to make any pleats underneath. That's one a big rule. You don't do that. So if it's any gathering or any pleating, you can do at the head of the sleeve. Otherwise, everything else needs to be nice and smooth. So as you see, it's kind of like nothing is set in stone. So I take the pin out, I pinned it, and then take the pin out if it doesn't sit right, and put it back. So if that's what I need. It's perfect. So around armhole, make sure it's not pulling. So I'm going to do here a little bit to set in our place. There we go. So I've done it, and the next thing I will do is I'm going to check. I'm going to make that over. So I'm going to see. I'm going to turn it inside out, and the first thing I do is check, because you don't want to spend so much time finishing off and actually it's not right. So I'm going to do that. Just turn around. Place my sleeve. And it should be fine, but I still check. And what the most important, make sure the lining is not pulling my sleeve. That's what I'm really looking for. And it's perfect. Okay, so nice, nothing is pulling, everything is in the right place. And we also got extra lining inside already tacked, and that's why, you know, it's important to have that lining tacked in. So we're gonna do that later. Now, so it's ready to be based. Okay, so it's ready to be tacked there. So which is, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you in the next video. Thank you, bye.